What up with it, YouTube world? You in the house with your boy Chin Checker. Say, man, we about to get right into this reaction video. These are some crooked cops that falsely accuse some females. Not only did they falsely accuse them, they beat them up. Without further ado.
Welcome to Audit Archive, where we run you through some of the most questionable and rather atrocious police encounters. Today, we're looking at a case where police officers assaulted two innocent females after pulling them over and falsely accusing them. One of the officers was also involved in the assault of a female Olympic boxer a few months prior. On January 1st, 2023, Officers Ashley Pluff and Adam Hobbs of the Toledo Police Department had responded to an accident scene when they spotted a vehicle driving by and presumably noticed that the driver almost hit a tow truck that was on the scene.
Oh man, here we go.
To this, Officer Pluff switched her patrol vehicle's emergency lights on and immediately pursued the vehicle in an attempt to pull the driver over. Just a few seconds into pursuing the vehicle, both officers were able to catch up to the driver, who then promptly pulled over without any complications. Inside the car were two females, 24-year-old Kaylin Smart and 26-year-old Melvina Keith, who were just heading home after a night out. Officer Hobbs made initial contact with the occupants of the vehicle by walking over to the passenger side and immediately yanking the door open without any verbal communication or warning.
Wow.
This not only displayed a hostile attitude towards Miss Smart, but also violated her Fourth Amendment rights. According to the U.S. Court's government website, it stated that the Constitution, through the Fourth Amendment, protects people from unreasonable searches and seizures by the government. The Fourth Amendment, however, is not a guarantee against all searches and seizures, but only those that are deemed unreasonable under the law.
Okay.
While taking this into account, it becomes obvious that Miss Smart's rights had been violated, and she was now being unlawfully searched, as we can confidently assume that the officers had no reason to pull them out of the vehicle anyway. Immediately after yanking the door open, Officer Hobbs got into an argument with Miss Smart, who was rightfully confused and concerned with regard to his demeanor. She asked Officer Hobbs why he opened the door with such aggression, and Officer Hobbs responded by telling her to shut up.
Why are you opening the door like that? Shut your mouth! No, you
As this confrontation went on, Officer Hobbs ordered Miss Smart to get out of the vehicle, and then proceeded to forcefully pull her out and pin her down to the ground with force. Meanwhile, Officer Pluff showcased a very similar attitude. In fact, her body cam catches her saying, "I'm getting them out of the car."
I'm getting him out of the car.
As she got out of her patrol vehicle, this implied that Officer Pluff had already intended to act unlawfully. And this became true when she opened the driver's side door, promptly ordered Miss Keith to step out.
26. Turn the car off.
Very aggressive.
Turn the car off.
You
Out.
went through an accident scene.
Step out.
She is also seen assisting Officer Hobbs in securing Miss Smart, and then proceeds to aggressively place Miss Keith in handcuffs. It is to be noted that neither of the officers informed the women about why they were being legally detained. After both Miss Smart and Miss Keith were placed in handcuffs, they apparently still pose a threat to the officers, since both officers continued to act with violence and physically assaulted Miss Keith, who was clearly not resisting. Dashcam footage captured Officer Pluff throwing Miss Keith to the ground by grabbing her hair, while Officer Hobbs simply assisted. Following this, Officer Pluff threw at least 5 punches at Miss Keith, who was already physically restrained on the ground.
Oh man, come on now.
Let go of my hand!
Bro, you on my mother. Guess what? This ain't my fight.
Amidst this, Miss Smart appeared to say something to Officer Hobbs, but was immediately shut down when Officer Hobbs violently pushed her back to the ground and subsequently dragged her to the patrol vehicle and threw her in the back. At this point, Miss Smart was sitting in the back of the patrol vehicle.
I'm too lit for this. He done bruised my face up, smashed me into the ground. Is this nigga okay? How is he allowed to be working? This shit is crazy. And he done smashed my head against the car.
While Miss Keith was still outside placed in handcuffs, she was yelled at by one of the officers that had also responded to the scene and was told that she had nearly killed people.
Damn, you just killed people?
But, as proven by the dashcam footage, Miss Keith was nowhere close to hurting anybody.
Already
The
know.
officers also implied that the women were under arrest, but it is to be noted that neither of them were given a clear explanation as to why they were being arrested.
Was banging my head against the car.
Yeah, I sure the was.
Because you have no other.
Because you had my hand. I don't know where my handcuff keys are.
Mine's in my right pocket.
Hey,
Beat him up for no reason, man.
In general, the U.S. court supports that officers should inform subjects about why they are being arrested and what the nature of the charges leveled against them really are. However, in this case, Miss Smart and Miss Keith were pulled out of their vehicle, placed in handcuffs, and then secured in patrol vehicles, all while not knowing why. In addition to the false accusations made by the officers, Officer Hobbs claimed that Miss Smart had punched him in the face 3 or 4 times during the scuffle.
It's all on
Punched
camera.
me in the face
I was
like
gonna
3
say,
or 4
she
times.
landed.
However, as we've already reviewed the dashcam footage, it's clear that Officer Hobbs was not only exaggerating, but straight up lying. As this
Straight
went
up
on,
lying.
a bystander asked the officers what happened, and as expected, the officers continued to fabricate the situation and act as victims who were allegedly beaten by both women. Officer Hobbs stated that the women had in fact crashed into a tow truck, contradicting his claims prior to this when he accused the women of almost crashing.
They drove through a crashing and crashed into a tow truck.
In response to this, the bystander asked if the vehicle had signs of damage after the crash, and unbelievably, Officer Hobbs then tried to justify his claims by pointing out that the vehicle had a few marks and scratches.
It looked like it. I mean, there's a scrape on the side.
That's great.
There's scrapes on both sides though, so I don't know.
Both Miss Smart and Miss Keith were taken to the Lucas County Corrections Center, where Officer Hobbs and Pluff could be seen laughing and joking around before bringing the women inside.
Yeah, she scratched. Yeah, she popped me pretty good. Got me right square in the nose. Made my eyes water a little bit. She paid for it though.
I was gonna say my finger might be broken.
Yeah, the bite.
They just
probably
telling
hurt
on
the
themselves.
most. We'll see. Play by.
Ultimately, the women were charged with several misdemeanors, but not with assaulting an officer. Officer Hobbs tried to justify his use of force in the police report, stating that he used joint manipulation and strikes to get Miss Smart under control. Meanwhile, it's to be pointed out that Officer Pluff was involved in a similar incident a few months prior when she physically assaulted O'Shea Jones, who is an Olympic boxer. She displayed a very similar use of force against Miss Jones, but faced no consequences other than a reprimand by the Toledo Police Department. This time, however, the department finally took appropriate action. Over 3 months after the incident, on April 29, 2023, both Officer Pluff and Officer Hobbs were placed under investigation. The department currently has a total of 100 days to complete its investigation and take needed action. Be sure to check out our previous video, where we cover another outrageous police encounter.
So there you have it, YouTube. Another video with these crooked, corrupt cops. Falsely, accuse these people, snatched them out the car, beat them up, and placed them under arrest. Say, man, if you think that was foul, leave a comment and let me know what you think. I think that was foul, man. They just be, to me, they're like the modern day bullies. But please like, please subscribe. You out the house with your boy Chin Checker. Also, inquire about that music. Peace.